And so when we see this curated version of what motherhood looks like, which is what everybody else sees, so when everybody else puts out their motherhood content, they curate it to fit, you know, that standard that's out there. We look at our lives and go, what's wrong with me? How are you guys doing? I have not done a video like this in such a long time, and I thought, let's do one. Obviously, because I'm here with you guys. I started doing a little bit of my makeup because I don't want to scare you guys too much. I should probably turn my notifications off my phone so it doesn't ding every 2 seconds. Oh crap, I forgot my bronzer. Hold on 1 second. I have not done a video like just to sit down. The fact that I'm doing my makeup is totally separate from this because I used to really love doing those kind of get ready with me style videos. But I have not done those in forever because my get ready with me has been me getting ready while the rest of my house sounds like chaos. You guys seen those reels where like it sounds like a Jerry Springer show happening in the background, and then it's like, when my husband lets me sleep in, and then you hear like beeping out and crashing and screaming. Yeah, that's how it is, I feel like, all the time at my house. And so to sit down and do like a get ready with me, that's not an escape for you because it probably sounds exactly like your guys' house. Oh, so much has been on my mind lately, so much. And when I used to film all the time, I would just be like, oh, this is on my mind. It's nap time, I'm gonna film. And you can see some of those videos. I still have them up from when I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. And we had probably 2 kids, I think at that point, 1 or 2 kids. And it was so easy. I would just, oops, sorry guys, I got really low there. It was so easy. I would just set my camera up and I would film. Why does this look so high? And that's basically what YouTube was for the most part when it came to like mommy content. It was just set your camera up and film. And now it's like level up. Everybody's, I mean, which is cool. Do you, girl? But it's leveled up, right? Really good videography and really interesting to watch. And the reality of it is I just cannot do that regularly because it's a lot of work. But anyways, all that to say, rambling on, I have had something on my mind, and I feel like whenever I do these kinds of videos, that's how I started out. I've had something on my mind. I have to always add more blush because my face just eats the blush. I don't know where it goes. It's like I put it on and then it's gone. I don't understand. But I've had something on my mind, to put it lightly, that I feel like social media for moms, well, honestly for everybody, let's be real here. It is ruining lives, ruining experiences, ruining seasons of your life for so many people. Now, this is not everybody's story. Disclaimer, because I'm putting a video out to the internet, so this is a disclaimer, but this is just my story. This is not everybody's story, right? And just like there is bad with some things, there is also good that comes out of a lot of things too. And I'm a firm believer that the Lord brings good out of anything. But for moms in general, okay, I'll backtrack. Our generation is a generation of moms who, a lot of us don't have those tightest women in our lives that are pouring into us regularly. When you go to churches, there usually are some older women there, but are they regularly volunteering in the nursery? Are they pouring into the younger 20-somethings, 30-somethings women who have families? A lot of people retire and they move away and go to Florida, you know? Or they're like, I've put my time in and now it's time for me. And I can understand the idea behind that. I can understand that, right? Like, parenthood is hard. It's hard. It's hard. It never gets easy. Like, I've never met a parent who's like, it's so easy. No, it's never easy. That's just the reality of being a parent, right? All that to say, years ago, it was different than it is now. There were multi-generations, you know, living together, pouring into each other, having meals every Sunday, visiting with their grandparents. And this obviously wasn't the case for everybody, but it was way more intertwined in families. When you have all of those older generations around, they're teaching you how to take care of a house. They're giving you recipes and showing you how to cook. You're growing up with this idea of what raising a family looks like, of what feeding a family looks like, of what making time for your family looks like. You know, there weren't a million activities to drive your kids to all the time. And you probably also had a realistic idea of what your house would look like with kids. And I don't know about you guys, but I remember growing up and going to friends' houses, and their houses were lived in. The counters weren't spotless. There was, you know, junk mail sitting on the counter that needed to get thrown away. There was stuff out in the bathroom. You know, there was pieces of hair on the sink in the bathroom because dad shaved that morning. Like, it was just real life. And I remember that long ago in a past life. I remember that being real. Fast forward to now, and it's like so many of us women, and I guess I'll just start saying me, I feel like being so inundated with this fake view of motherhood has royally wrecked my idea of what's realistic. I've talked about Instagram before and like why I've gotten off of it. So I kind of have already, I don't want to like beat the horse over and over again, but filling our minds with this and seeing these, you know, unrealistic, I mean, maybe for some people they're realistic. For me and my life and my season and the reality of my children and my family and our life, it's unrealistic. Seeing that all the time, we might say, oh, it's just a highlight reel, but it really does start to affect what our idea of reality is. It really does started to affect me on what I expected from my children, what I expected my house to look like, what I expected my finances to look like, what I expected my marriage to look like, you know, because it's like you're seeing all of this stuff all the time. And if you're not constantly, if you haven't gotten poured into of what's realistic, all you know of realistic is what you see. And if we're always on social media, that's what we see. I think especially growing up or raising young children, it just is this, it's so unrealistic. And like content like cleaning routine videos or meal planning videos where people share what their meal plan looks like, that I feel like is great in a sense where we're getting that help in areas where we might not have gotten it before, you know, or we're finding help and guidance in certain topics and areas of motherhood that we need help and guidance in, that we don't maybe have the physical help or guidance there with us, you know? So like I said, I don't think it's all bad, but this idea of like having everything put together, of having your life put together, of having, you know, having to clear the crap out of the back of your video because you want it to look like you live in a minimal house and like you just bought your house and moved in. Or maybe having to buy a house and just move in because everybody on social media is building a new house and moving in. Or feeling, you know, not put together because your house isn't all white or your kitchen isn't all white granite countertops with white cabinets and a big farmhouse sink. Like, some people have medical bills. Some people have one income coming into their family and it's not 6 digits a year. Some people just choose to spend their money on other things and that's okay, you know? But I feel like when that's all you see, that is what, you know, kind of sets the precedence of what we think is realistic. And I will speak for myself when I say that, you know, I have been on social media for the last 10 years, like many of you, you know, but have gone from making pregnancy vlogs to getting paid for videos, you know, with Millennial Moms and Mindy McKnight. And you know, having sponsorships and partnerships with companies. And when you start making money on it, it starts to set this standard in your mind where it's like, okay, I better rise to the occasion and I better be just as good as everybody else. And if I am bringing in an income and I'm not as good as everybody else, then that's saying something too. Or if I don't, you know, rise to the same level as everybody else, then I'm gonna be old news real fast and I'm not gonna be able to bring in an income doing this anymore. And that's just, I mean, that's the money-making side of it all, right? That's not just the average woman that's watching this and seeing this and comparing this to herself, you know? I was talking with a friend of mine and I was talking about the, like all of the awareness of trauma that we have as a generation. We just have this awareness. I need to get my mirror. We are very aware of trauma. You know, I don't think another generation has used that term as often as our generation has, you know? And we are so aware of it. And like I said, there is so much good from that because we are aware. We can stop cycles, or we can work on bettering ourselves and being aware of how we parent and being aware of how we react to things. But on the other side of it, I find myself seeing my kids just be kids, or let's be realistic here, seeing my kids be sinners in need of a savior. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're doing that because I did this. Oh my gosh, they're doing that because, you know, this is a reflection of my parenting. When they do something good, it's like, I don't ever think, oh, look at me, you know? But if they are struggling, if they make a bad choice, if they're human beings, you know, if they're acting like how we know kids can act sometimes, I'm automatically like, what did I do? Oh, I haven't been spending enough time with them. They need one-on-one time. I have not been as consistent. We have been too busy. Oh, they've been eating too much sugar. Oh, that stuff that I gave them earlier had dye in it. It's like the list goes on and on and on, and it's just insane. It's just insane. And then it's like, but don't guilt yourself, mom. Don't shame yourself. Don't have mom guilt. How should I say? We have been exposed to so much, right? Like we have a brief idea of all of these different things like gaslighting and narcissism, controlling parenting, or emotionally neglectful. Like there's so many buzzwords when it comes to trauma and all of that kind of stuff. And we watch a reel on it and we're like, oh, we know all about it. And we self-diagnose ourselves. And if we're not seeing a therapist, then I feel like it's even worse because we're exposed to all this stuff and then just left to our own vices to continue on with our day. And I feel like it's just too much. It's too much. It's too much thrown at us. And there's always something to work on. There's always something to work on, am I right? And it's too much. It's too much. And so for me, I was thinking about it and I really feel like, in a sense, social media is ruining people's lives. It's ruining the reality of what life should be, the reality of what motherhood is. It's ruining people's perceptions of what to expect out of motherhood. If anything, it's just confusing the hell out of us. I don't know. Comment down below, you guys, because I don't want this to seem like it's just a rant. It's just like, it just gets to be too freaking much, you know? And then it's like, don't even get me started on homeschool content and the homeschool and the comparison with homeschooling. Oh my gosh. When I got off of Instagram, I feel like I finally figured out who I was as a homeschool mom. And it took me to step away from social media, away from all of the extra stuff that's thrown at me, at us, to be like, cool, they're in nature every day. They're also learning about the history of music, and they're also fluent in a foreign language, and they're also going to, you know, 7,000 activities every week, and they also have family game night too. Somewhere in the middle they figure that out, like, well, we're gone 7 days a week, but we also take one night a week that we magically create because I'm that good, and have a family board game night, you know, and we don't even order pizza. We make it homemade and it's gluten-free. It's not realistic for me. And when I stepped aside and I said, I'm taking a break from what's fake and I'm just gonna focus on what's in my own life, I felt so confident. Like, it's like I figured out what worked. And I didn't care what, you know, Susie Homemaker down the street or across the world was doing with her kids. I was okay just doing what I wanted to do with my family. If we do science and history 1 day a week, and we do math and English 3 to 4 days a week, sweet, awesome. I have different kids than she does. You have a different family than this person does over here. Marriages are different, finances are different, work schedules are different, capacities, mental capacities, emotional capacities are different. I can't even begin to talk about the amount of people that I've talked to that have said, I really, really wish I could homeschool, but their life doesn't allow for it. They cannot be home with their kids. They have a different life. And so when we see this curated version of what motherhood looks like, which is what everybody else sees, so when everybody else puts out their motherhood content, they curate it to fit, you know, that standard that's out there, we look at our lives and go, what's wrong with me? And so that's kind of where I was at when I made this video. And it's funny because I'm not, like I said, I'm not on Instagram, haven't been on it for, I don't even remember how long it's been, but haven't been on it. And so it's not like I've been inundated with Instagram, but I've gotten to take a step back and look at myself, look at, you know, I feel bad for me when I was younger. If I could go back to when my kids were 3 under 3, I tried so hard. And like, I felt so less than. And for years, a lot of you guys have, if you've been around or people that have viewed me before, have said like, it's really refreshing to hear you talk because you say the things that none of the other moms say, but we all feel. And it's like, why? Why? Why do we go along with this? You know, why is it so hard to say, oh my gosh, I lost with my kid the other day and I just screamed like a maniac? You know, that's not something to be proud of. But it's like, why is it so freaking hard to just admit we're human? When no one is transparent, everyone thinks they're the odd man out. And I really think that is what the world and what Satan wants from us. Stay quiet in your chaos. Don't say anything. Don't, you know, acknowledge that you're struggling because you're the only one. And then everybody else who's in the same boat as you doesn't say anything either. And then the charade just continues. And it's just, oh, I cannot even. It's been so long since I've done a video like this. And I think it comes down to, I make videos like this when I've reached the point of just being like, oh my gosh, I need to talk about this. So if you hung in there through this whole video, bless your soul, because I know that I can get long-winded and I probably will edit some of this out. But if anything, just know that you're not alone. If anything, just know that maybe I'm the only person in the entire world who feels this way. But if you do too, then we've got each other. I highly doubt it though, because the moms that I go and have lunch with at their house, the play dates I go to, the homeschool co-op that I'm with, they're all real moms with real houses and real bills, real kids, you know, and no one's perfect, nothing's perfect. And the more I spend time with the real, the less desire that I have to saturate myself with the fake. So I don't know, maybe you take this as encouragement to go plan some time with your friend in real life. You know, real life. Go hang out with friends, go spend time in other people's houses, go talk with your girlfriends about the hardships of motherhood and the reality of what you're walking through, and you will be amazed as people open up and they confide in you and they say, guess what? You're not alone. Guess what? Yup, me too. All right, guys, I realize you are watching me right now on a social media platform, but I hope that this video did exactly opposite of what some of the other stuff out there that infiltrates us does. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this little chit chat with me. Please comment down below. I would love to chat more with you guys about this topic. I won't go on any longer, but thank you guys for watching today. I hope that the sun is coming out if you live in the Midwest. it's starting to happen. Spring is coming, guys. Slowly, it's on its way. So hopefully you guys are hanging in there. Everywhere else, if you've got sunshine, just get out there and be in there. Be in it for me for a little bit, okay? So soak in some vitamin D and send it to Michigan because we need it over here. Love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.